January 3rd, 2024. How's it going, guys? Well, I got another video for you, and this will be part 2 of my part 2 of 30 videos between Kansas City and St. Louis and St. Charles. And what I'm going to talk about in this video is about metaphysics and the energies. And very important, because this is going to get really strange. Now, I've been other different places out of Kansas City. We've been down to Branson, we've been down to, Arkansas, places like that. And basically, the energy's never been affected. When we got to St. Charles, it was something different. And what do I mean by that? Well, it didn't affect our energy in the sense that it pulled our energy down in any way. But say if you were pushing your energy out, or if you were pulling your energy, it felt like, what I would describe it as, is almost like there was like quicksand around you. Now, why would that be? And I got thinking about this. What could cause that? Because it wasn't like there was energy being pulled from us. Our energy was strong. Actually, we seemed to have more energy there. But it seemed like there was, like I say, like the energy, if you wanted to push your energy out, or even if you wanted to pull, you had to put some effort into it, a lot more effort. Why would that be? Now, one thing I did notice, there was not anybody, I didn't actually see anybody do anything with this energy. Nobody was coming up behind other people trying to pull their energy or anything like that, or throw it out or anything. And then, like I say, we were there almost 3 days. And it made me think, well, had any of these people, had any of them actually, in a way, ascended? Or is it something else there? Is something actually creating like almost like a force field there? It makes it real thick. Now, there was something that was spoken this morning on one of the other YouTube channels, and I want to talk about that. I'm not affiliated with any other YouTube channels, but that Gina Marie Covens, she was talking about how she was feeling that this energy was like pressing, kind of like it was, pressing up against her. Well, like when we went there to St. Charles and St. Louis, the energy in that area felt like, I would describe it as quicksand, but it could also be described as like it was pressing on you, like you were like in some kind of thick like goo or something. And when that Gina Marie Coven talked about this morning, she was talking about waves of energy coming in. But I don't think that's the case. I think this energy is coming from like down below, maybe like coming up from the surface. Because I usually feel waves of energy when it comes off the sun. And this seemed like that just like the whole area basically was just like in goo, like in quicksand. Now, why that would be, I don't know. I did a little bit of research. I was trying to see if there was any other kind of mineral deposits there, or anything that could actually slow something like that down and make it more sluggish. I hadn't found anything about any other crystals or anything that would be mined any different from Arkansas or like Branson or up through here compared to St. Louis. Now, we do know that on down, what is that, Mississippi, I guess now that they were talking about that volcano, it's down there, I believe, and I think it has become active, and there's the fault lines down through there too. But then what if it was something else? What if it was, they talk about, some of these places where there's underground facilities that the military have, or maybe the high ups have. What and also like on a like I said, I'm not affiliated with any other YouTube channel like Paul Bigley. He talks to Mike from around the world, and they talk about CERN. And Mike was talking one night about how it's not just about opening portals. It's also about they could actually, if there was a nuclear blast, they could redirect that radiation almost like to a different state. So if it was going to hit one city, it could be pushed off to a different one. So what if this is some kind of shield, like energy coming up from underneath where St. Louis and St. Charles is? Now, I do know that there's a lot of underground, like caves there and stuff too. And it just makes me wonder about that. But all the time we were there, like I say, I didn't see anybody pulling any energy or anything like that whatsoever. I did also did some research to see if there was any metaphysics shops. Now there are some metaphysics shops there. There are some places even, what am I looking to say? That kind of like a massage-like place, but like Reiki, that does the Reiki. So there would have to be some people there that use this energy, but it's, moving it around and stuff. But it just made me think that there's something else really odd about that. Now we know that supposedly people all around the world can move this energy. Certain people. I still, they say everybody can do it. I don't believe that. And even my friend that came back from Arizona, he doesn't believe that either. He doesn't believe that everybody can do it. He said that certain people can do it are more gifted than others. And I really do believe that. I believe there's more to this. But then I got thinking about what that Gina Marie Colvin was talking about. Now she thinks that the waves of energy do come in here. But what I thought was weird, when we got maybe about 50 miles out from St. Louis coming back, then it seemed like there was no thickness. There was no... And then like here in Kansas City, I can hear sometimes when these waves of energy come in, and there's energy waves, I can hear like tones. Now some people would say that's tinnitus. I don't believe so. Because sometimes I can actually hear two different tones coming in at once. And I believe there's a lot more to it than that. But then why would Kansas City, I don't know. This is another reason when I think about all this, it would be good to think about this communicating with people that have these abilities in different states to be able to monitor some of this. And I'll go to one other extreme here why this is. Because like here in Kansas City, like out by, say, like Waterfall Park, like by Bass Pro, there is an energy that comes up from the ground through like those like aluminum light poles. In the waves of energy, actually, like after we got back and after this flare came off the sun, I wanted to see how much energy was coming off these poles, how much of an aura was coming off. And what I could see, I'm talking probably, 3.5, 4 feet out from these poles. So the energy that did come off from all this, it hits the earth, it hits the core, it bounces back. And, but it still doesn't explain there in St. Charles and St. Louis why you feel like you're in a mud puddle, like you're swimming in quicksand. And that's weird. So is there, think about this, is there some other kind of underground facility in that area? Or is it that there's something open here in Kansas City, like a crack or something from the core itself? They've always talked about this being stable here, but what if this isn't stable? What if this is unstable? So it's something else to, think about. And when we were in St. Charles and St. Louis, I did not see any of the light poles or any energy, any auras coming off any of those poles there. So it just makes you wonder. I think I talked about this once before, but the Navy used to run like a huge cable underground, and I forget exactly how they did this, but they sent some kind of signals through that like cable through the ground so they could communicate to submarines. And it just makes me wonder about a few things. Why this area, like I say, seems like it has so much of that energy. And is it natural? Is it something that actually is hitting here from the sun, hitting the core of the earth, and it's bouncing? I know a suspicious observer, that talks about when these micronovas have taken place. What I understand that they've hit, like they usually hit about in the same areas. My thought on something, and this is just my thought, when you think about multivite and you think about Libyan gold, well, if those are melted sand, and we know that it's like glass, and we know that when we first detonated the first nuclear bomb here, supposedly there was glass there where that we detonated that. Wouldn't that indicate that those same areas get hit again and again and again? And then they've also talked about the moon too, about also finding glass there. What is this glass? Why is all this on the moon? I don't know. Something else to think about. But I did find that strange in the metaphysic part of it, of this biokinetic energy that we produce, and what was there causing it to be such a, like I say, I think the best way I would describe it would be like quicksand there in St. Louis and St. Charles. So was there some kind of energy field there that's being produced from underground? I don't know. Is it something naturally it's occurring? But what would that be? I think of all the different, even all the different crystals and stuff that you can ground with and stuff, but it didn't feel like grounding. Like what that Gina Marie Coven was talking about this morning. She said that she felt. I think she's in, what is she? I don't know if she's in Indiana. I think she's in Indiana. I'm not for sure. But she was saying it felt like it was pressing on her energy. Like it was. And I thought, well, God, that sounds just about like what was there in St. Louis and St. Charles. But I don't think it was coming from that. I think it was whatever this is. If it did come from the sun, if it did come from out there in the universe and hit this, I think it was coming from hitting the earth and coming back up from the core. So something to think about all this. And why would that be? I'd still like to find out if there's if there's something else in St. Louis or St. Charles in those areas underground different than here in Kansas City. We have a lot of caves here too, but I don't know. It just seems kind of strange, guys. Wanted to talk about that, and also wanted to talk about that all the people there, they seem friendly enough. Everybody talked to one another. I don't know. And like not like here. I mean, here they with the energies, they pull each other's energies, they do different things. But then I was wondering if some of these people there even hardly even know about this, or they've extended far enough to where they, like I say, they could do any of that, or if there's something there keeping them all down, so they don't. Arts talks about how they, talks about controllers and wanting to control and keep everybody down with this energy. Well, maybe they're keeping those people down there in that area down. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I wanted to talk about this. This is part 2. This is about metaphysics, biokinetic energy, energy out there from the universe, and keep your eyes open and have a good one.